Hi everyone, welcome to the Envelopes Emmy Contender Series. I'm Yvonne Villarreal, and today we're talking to Gina Rodriguez, who plays our TV BFF Jane in the CW's Jane the Virgin. And we'll be taking your questions as well, so shoot them over in the comment section. And we're not just only joined by Gina.
No, we're joined by Casper as well. Yes, Casper. He wore his tie. He's very, very excited. He's here to cover my thigh, my inappropriate dress for this LA Times conversation here on Facebook Live.
What episode is Casper submitting?
He is actually, it's season 2. He's going back in the past when he had a flashback with Michael.
Yes.
To a photo of our family. But yeah, that's the one he's submitting.
Cute. Very nice. Well, you just got back from New York, right?
I did. I just got back from Upfronts, which was very exciting because we're going into our 4th season, which is very cool. And I got to talk about inclusion on the CW, which is a very inclusive network, that's for sure, which is very exciting to be a part of that family. And I did a bunch of different talk shows while I was there.
Can we talk
You
about...
want to talk about Brad Pitt?
Yes.
I got my man here, though. I love you, boo-boo.
Sorry, Joe. You were on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and you posted on Instagram and Twitter a photo with Brad Pitt, prom style.
Always.
Tell me how that came to be. Do you just go up to Brad Pitt and say, can we take a prom picture?
It was his decision.
Really?
I can say that with all honesty. He went straight for the prom pose. Maybe that's what he's used to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It was my first time meeting Brad. I wasn't going to judge him.
Yeah.
But actually, we rolled up to Colbert after doing a photo shoot, and we had our bags in the car from the airport. It was like right when we had landed, photo shoot, Colbert. So I'm wearing pajamas, and I see a barricade of photographers and fans of the show, and I rolled down the window. I was like, hey guys, you know, like I'm wearing pajamas. If you just give me a second, let me put on a dress because this is real embarrassing. Or just like not the way I want my grandma to see me on any cover of anything. And as I'm telling the photographers, my head out the side of the door. My hand was on the window, and the photographers are looking at me. They're like, Gina. I'm like, hey guys, do you mind if I just change real quick? And they're mad love. Photographers have always had my back, and I see their face go from like Gina to your hand, and the driver was rolling my hand up on the window. And I got it caught, and it started to swell. We run into Colbert. We put ice on it. I'm like a little flustered, and they come in, and they're like, 10 minutes, Gina. They're gonna come in and mic you, and I'm like, yeah, cool. And then like my hand is swelling, and I'm like kind of, I'm like, guys, oh man, I gotta like calm myself down. And then they come in, they're like, oh, just so you know, Brad Pitt's here. I'm like, awesome, way to add to my situation right now. This is great. I can't wait. And I'm walking with my hairstylist and my makeup artist, Kiki and Carissa, who I absolutely love. And they're like, calling, you know, they're like, Gina, it's all good. Just go have fun. Like, your hand will be okay.
Don't think about the hand.
Yeah, don't think about the hand. You still have it. No, he's done. He's over this story. We had him at Brad Pitt, and now he's like up to the plans. Casper, hey, buddy, you want to hear the rest of my story? So we open the door, and I'm going to like Colbert backstage, and I'm like, it'd be really crazy if I just opened the door and it was like face to face with Brad Pitt. And I was like, oh, great. Casper, you want to go with Joe? Go. Go on, buddy. Go. Baby, call him. Go on.
Bye, Casper.
Yeah, he doesn't. The limelight is too much for him at times. And I get it, though, buddy. I get social anxiety, too. So then immediately I was like, Gina, great to meet you. So excited for all the great things that you've been doing. And I'm like, why are you saying any of this? And I didn't say that. I just was like, okay.
Hi.
Will you take a picture of me?
Yes.
And he grabbed my hand, and I was like, this is what we're doing. We're doing this.
And it was amazing.
It happened.
It was a great picture.
It was very lovely, very, very kind. I'm very excited to see War Machine.
Mm-hmm. Well, good.
That was a plug for you, Brad. I did that plug for you, dude.
You'll be starring in a movie together soon, I'm sure.
That's the reason why. You know, I'm just doing the pre-plug work so he understands, and next time we do our film together, that, you know.
Right. Well, we're not here to only talk about Brad Pitt. Sorry. Too
bad, right?
Too bad. But so I wish I could say, like, I feel like this could be said every season of Jane the Virgin, which was a lot went down with your character.
Girl, always.
Always. But especially this season.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Very fun.
Very fun.
And heading into it, I was a little nervous because I'm like, okay, things are working out.
I know.
It's the happily ever after she wanted. Mm-hmm. Were you nervous going into it?
You know, Jenny definitely prepared us for this season. And it was the first time she had, because usually we don't really know what's happening with our characters, where we're going, where the storylines are going. It really is the way life is. It unfolds just kind of like we get our scripts the day before. So who knows what's going to happen next, or what magical realism or what kind of talent we're going to have to learn, because we're going to have to do it in our magical realism. But this one, she prepared us because she knew what it meant to lose Brad. It was I'm sure it was hard for everyone, and I don't want to speak for anyone but myself, but I am going to say that it was easily the most difficult thing I've gone through as an actor. I had so much freedom with Brett. And our characters had that quintessential love story that was just epic. And it was the finding each other, falling in love, losing each other. Will they ever get back together? Getting back together under all these circumstances that are difficult, but which is life. Thus is life. And when we came back and we had our happily ever after, we still were able to play in that first half of season 3. We got to play the trials and tribulations of any relationship and any first-time marriage, which I still personally don't know myself, but it was really great. Again, motherhood is another thing I don't know, but I'm learning from so many wonderful people around me, and as an actor, obviously that's what you do, but it was so full and so rich in the first half of the season with Brett, with the character of Michael, that him leaving was devastating. So talk about grieving. I was really grieving, and rightfully so, because I felt like when we were together, we were making magic happen. On a television show where you seldom have the opportunity to grow to that magnitude. And on Jane, on Jane the Virgin, the writing is so impeccable that we get to grow. And then this season, we actually got to grow in the evolution of any human being when we flash forward for 3 years.
Did you find that your Twitter feed was blowing up with people?
Oh my God. Some people were like, why would you do this? Why would you take Michael away from us? And then at the same time, I'm like, I don't write the show. But I am very blessed to be on this show, because the one thing is the sacrifice that we had to make in losing Brett, or Michael, losing the character Michael, was a blessing of being able to evolve in a character and transform. You know, for me personally, me and Joe took off for a month to Thailand so I can get the arm strength to carry a 50-year-old child like every single day, because that little boy is bananas. He's
50 pound.
He's like on my head all the time, and totally has no regard for like, and we could both topple over at any moment. But and also to have that time to understand what 3-year period of losing someone you absolutely love looks like. You know, as an actor, really going into character work of what kind of transformations Jane would go through.
Yeah, because did you feel cheated that you didn't get to experience that in real time, or you liked and appreciated the time jump?
Yeah, I really appreciated the time jump, because for one, it also allows us storytelling-wise for the next few seasons, God willing, whatever our future may be on the show, but it allows us to have story to go back to those 3 years, to flash back, to see a part of Jane and how she arrived to where she is now, which is a little more cynical, less naive, a little less enraptured by love, and figuring out her sexuality in terms of being comfortable in her skin and wanting to have sex outside of a marriage, outside of the convictions that she was so, used to and domesticated by and brought up by. Which I think is really freaking awesome to play as an actor. Yeah. Because, when I started Jane, I was 28, 29, playing a 22-year-old. And now I'm able to play this 27-year-old. A little closer to, like, the life that I live and I lead, which is one that is trying to be optimistic and loving and caring and honest, but at the same time, you have so many other outside sources and forces coming into your existence, and so you see Jane like navigate through that. So it is. I got to spread my wings, and mind you, for the whole time that I've been on Jane, it has been challenging and challenges upon challenges, not only with the different characters she wants to play, the split screens that she has us do. I'm playing against myself so often. Yael does the same thing with Aneshka. That is very challenging, especially when it's out of order, especially when you have to remember how you want to play these different characters, different gestures, different personalities. So it's continuously challenging, but the growth, I mean, I feel like I'm exercising every single day. I'm doing comedy and drama. I'm doing heightened drama, heightened comedy. You've got to make someone laugh, do physical comedy, and then cry because of someone's death the next minute. That is like, as an actor, is a gift. It's a huge gift.
What is your favorite dream sequence that you've done?
Oh, you know, I had that. Somebody asked me that question this past week at Upfront, and it feels like impossible. I love Bishy Cecilia. I love the different sister ideas of who Jane would think that Alba's sister was like. That was, again, very challenging to have like 3 different characters with an accent that were split screened with myself and very different than myself. That was a lot of fun to play. Nicki Minaj, Jane, super, super fun because I got to write the rap and like we did like music video-esque and it was very cool. Bachelorette Jane was super fun.
That was a good one.
I love Bachelorette Jane.
That was a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I'm excited to see what Jenny's going to have us do next because she, you know, she listens. So, you know, I get to box this season even though Jane can't box. And like, you know, it was very cool to play somebody that wasn't coordinated with their hands when it was actually very difficult to not be coordinated when I've been boxing my whole life. So that was really cool. It was really fun. And Joe, my boyfriend, got to do the choreography for that, and so we got to work together, and it was cool.
And he was also on the show as a stripper.
Of course.
Which was amazing.
Yeah, that's actually how we met. So great. Gentlemen out there, if you're looking to find your lovely lady, all you have to do is jump on her show and get half naked. No, I'm kidding. He's a phenomenal human being. He's the best. And Jenny is so good about, you know, a lot of us are dating artists and have relationships with artists or friends that we absolutely love that are artists that are wanting to work on great sets. And Jenny really appreciates that I think we have that space on Jane, and she brings in our people and she brings them back, and she, you know, because that's what it is. Artists are a collective. And
yeah, because I'm like, this is like sort of telenovela-esque. Can we get Michael back like as an evil twin or something?
We want him to be a ghost. We want him to be, I mean, I'm like, why can't Jane just start like seeing him and have to go to therapy because she's like, I think I keep seeing my husband or my ex-husband.
Are you pitching stuff?
Jenny, if you're listening, mama. No.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, obviously, we got to see him in this finale. He came back, and that was bittersweet, to be honest. It was like, there's a moment in this finale.
Passing of the baton,
There was a moment in the finale where he and I are back. You know, I'm remembering it. I'm flashbacking to when we were with the priest right before getting married, and he's like, she's a big crier, and I'm like, whatever, I'm not a big crier. And he's like, well, I guess all I have to do is write about how much I love you and how much it means to me. And I start crying, and he's like, you see? But it was like I was looking at Brett like, God, I miss you, dude. I miss working with you. It sucks.
Cry now.
I know, it sucks.
We love you.
I love you, Brett. You rock.
And prior to the loss of Michael, a big moment early on in the season was Jane finally losing her virginity.
Yes. I literally do miss the crap out of Brad. It sucks. And I was trying to like pull him back.
Pull it back.
Girl, I gotta pull it back.
But so what was that like? I mean, we've seen Jane as a frustrated virgin, Jane as the mother and a virgin, Jane as a wife and a virgin for a few episodes.
A lot of things backwards or a lot of things out of order.
So what was that like playing all those different shades of that and then, you know, finally going for it?
It was exhilarating as an actor to have somebody write so realistic. Like, even though you're a virgin and you're holding yourself till marriage doesn't mean that you aren't sexually frustrated, doesn't mean that you don't want to masturbate. So, you know, I mean, like, these are real things, that these are conversations that actually should be had instead of being so, like, afraid afraid to talk about something that is so intimate and so personal. It's so sad that you would have to keep any kind of frustration to yourself or any kind of, like, fears or worries to yourself. So I really loved that as a writer, Jenny is capable of giving us storylines that we don't often see on screen because they may be taboo or controversial, and we do it with such a gentle pop, you know, with such a bubbliness that allows people to digest it without feeling uncomfortable. And so it's a big pleasure to do that because I don't see that. And as a Latina growing up in a very traditional family, we did not talk about sex.
Right.
We did not talk about sex. We still don't talk about sex. I'm 32 years old and we do not talk about sex, you know?
No.
So I think that it is a part of our culture that could really benefit from us being a little bit more comfortable with what we all eventually do to procreate, and like, or what we all, you know, do with our loved ones, whatever that looks like, whatever, you know, sexual orientation you are. It is unfortunate that we don't get to talk about it in just a more normalized way. And I think that that's something that we got to do on Jane and still do, and I have not shied away from. You know, Jane wanting to have a fling in these last few episodes with Fabian, who was played by amazing Francisco, amazing actor.
What was it like to see that side of her, to see her like awakened and okay to feel like, I mean, for lack of a better term,
to someone,
she's horny.
Yeah. And that's real. And it's great for her to be able to talk about why that makes her so uncomfortable, that she's horny and that she like wants to just be with a man and not have to like date him and be married to him and it be so like strict. And I think that's a beautiful evolution of a human being, especially one like myself who grew up in a very traditional household, a very, you know, Catholic household. It is nice to be able to have those conversations. And again, in like this arena that isn't like crude or like harsh. But my favorite was the losing of the virginity episode.
Because you were you had some trepidation about the sex scene, but then Jenny wanted to do something different.
I always have trepidation about sex scenes or nudity or anything like that. Like, yeah, I do. That goes to show you my past, you know, growing up, my traditions. But it was nice. The animation was awesome. It was directed by Eva Longoria. I love you, Eva Longoria. Fierce Latina woman, so badass. But to show that, like, losing your virginity does not look amazing. And that is why it is important to do it with somebody that, like, you love, that you can trust, that it's in a safe space, because then it could look really uncomfortable and bad and awful and still be, like, something to cherish. But also Jane's real situation and her real conundrum of the fact that, like, she waited till marriage and now she doesn't know if they're sexually, you know, aligned, compatible. And that is so real. That is so real. And her fears were very, very real. So it was, I think, a really dope storyline to play and also to give to those that are, like, about to hit that mark in their life, which is, it's okay if it doesn't have, like, doves and, like, butterflies don't just, like, fly out. Between everyone's legs, you know, but
that's not what happens.
Crude. Butterflies.
Butterflies.
That's what happened when I lost my virginity. Butterflies. Very far from
Someone's making a headline out of that.
Oh God! Oh no!
And so, as with the loss of Michael, as we said, you guys jumped forward 3 years. I've loved all the iterations of Mateo, but can we discuss Joseph Sanders, please?
He is a prodigy. He is most certainly smarter than a lot of adults that I've met. He can read. He's 4 years old. He reads easily at like 10-year-old level, right? He is a great cold reader at our table reads. It impresses the crap out of all of us. But he is, you know, I lost, and I do make this joke, but I know Brett understands. Like, I lost one 4-year-old for another. Like, they both are, like, infectious and just sweet and innocent and so alive and so curious and bring so much to every scene, both of them, with me. And so as much as it was, again, such a loss and still feels like one of the biggest losses in my, like, acting career, to lose such a partner in crime, I did gain a little, like, soon to be Brett, because he is brilliant and he's present and he looks at me and he hugs me and holds my hand like I'm his mommy, and it's just like he makes it so much easier for me to just be this symbol in his life that it doesn't really exist. He makes it so easy to play pretend, and we play pretend, boy. And you know what? The casting was spot on, because Joseph, my little man, you are just like Mateo. You are like, he brings so much love to all of our hearts while causing all kinds of chaos.
Not a diva on set?
Oh my God, he's like, only blue M&Ms. Not flat water. I like
Yes,
sparkling.
yeah.
No, he's awesome.
He's great.
Yeah, and he works. That little man works. And his mother, Lori. Thank you so much, Lori, because Lori you are a kind, beautiful woman that shares your son with us, and she shares her son with me.
Do you break more than he breaks in the scenes?
No, me and him go hard. All right, me and him, like, we are professionals.
Okay.
Me and Mateo, we do it. We pros.
We pros. Did you do anything to help him feel comfortable around you?
You know, when we did the test reads for the little boys, we only test read like 3 boys. I went in the elevator with Joseph.
Oh, okay.
And we got in the elevator, and I was like, hey, what's up, dude? And I knew I was going to go read with them. And he's like, hey, Mom. That's my mom. I was like, oh, I'm your mom. Like, immediately. He's like, here, do you want me to press the button for you? What floor are you going to? And I was like, oh.
It was like...
I was love at first sight. Like,
chemistry
we fell in
instantly.
love in the elevator. We went into the read. Brad Silverling turned to him and said, it's 10:40 a.m., kid. Remember this time. It changed your life. It'll change your life. And when I had tested with Brad Silverling, he did the same thing to me.
Really?
Same thing.
That's chilling.
I don't remember what time it is, so maybe clearly I didn't listen. I just more was like enthralled at the fact that he was like, it'll change your life. Like, Brad hit me with that, it'll change your life. And I was like, what time is it? Where are we? What day? What year? So, but he did the same thing. He was like, remember this time.
I didn't remember.
It's
You
his
didn't
line.
remember.
I did remember.
Damn.
I did remember, but he is right. Brad is right.
Well, what was it like sort of seeing Jane sort of come into motherhood and also still, you know, fulfilling her dreams career-wise?
You know, I can really relate to that because I have 2 older sisters that are doing it very successfully. And I mean, I God willing, one day I'm a mom. I would love to be a mom. I think I'd have so much fun with a little nugget. But seeing my sisters, women that are so close to me, women that I know and have seen the evolution of their life, seeing them come into motherhood and how they've handled it. And, you know, both are professional women, one private equity, the other one's a doctor, and they manage and they have the same kind of pitfalls that Jane does, where she feels this guilt and sense of pain when she leaves her son, this guilt of like putting herself over her son. It's a wonderful conversation because I know so many women out there are going through it, and so many women. Now, regardless of the child, fighting for your dreams with obstacles can look very similar, and I can relate to that with Jane. So playing that was like pulling from all the influences that I have around me, and again, like, I just feel very lucky to be on a show where a woman is listening to the women around her, she's listening to the world around her, she's listening to the issues that art can help change, and then I get to be the chosen one to like send those messages out, so I feel very lucky for that.
Well, and the show has always had sort of a political undertone with the case of Alba, but obviously this season
and pro and abortion and pro life, pro choice,
everything. But this season it seems like more than ever there was some significance to it, and Jenny has been very vocal about the responsibilities she felt, and you sort of we see that scene with you and Mateo where you're explaining. Talk about for you why it was also important to explore these topics.
Well, I mean, Jenny is just such a great listener. I think that's what makes her such a great storyteller. But she knew what was happening to the leads of her show's community. She knew how much it meant to myself and to Andrea and to Yvonne, to Jaime, to be vocal as artists about the pain that we are causing to a community that has contributed to this country so greatly. And that's a wide community. You know, there are lots of people that are not from here.
Right.
So not just the Latino community, but the community that are being alienated and unwelcomed in our country, which to me has always been a country of opportunity, of freedom, of dreaming big, and being able to accomplish those goals no matter where you come from. And I think that with Jenny's beautiful heart and knowledge that art can be active in creating social change, she did it in a way that didn't exclude our audience. It's not, you're wrong, I'm right. It's not, if you don't feel this way, then you're a terrible person. It's more so, here are conversations that are happening in our life, and I'd love to share them with you because they're real and they affect so many children that that it's painful. It's painful to perform at times. You know, when I had my Mateo telling me that scene, doing that scene, even in the table read, I was in tears because I just realized at that moment what an awesome chance we have as artists to talk about something that is happening in our political environment right now. And to see it in the perspective of a young child saying why.
Because they see it
They
more
see
than
it,
we think they do.
And they know what it means to not be wanted or welcomed. Every human being, that's instinctual. And for him to see that people weren't welcoming or wanting his grandma, who he loves, who feeds him and babysits him and takes care of him, and is the matriarch of her family, and is the contributor to the household that had put a roof over two women's heads and made them a success. It is, those are the people that are also being affected, not the 1 or 2% of criminals that we love to highlight, because there are criminals in every shade. There's bad that's done in every shade, but we forget about the 98% of the good that we're hurting. So I think that's really dope to do.
Yeah. Well, and looking back on the season, was there a moment that really touched you or spoke to you, or you were happy to explore as far as Jane?
I would say definitely this. The conversations recently with Alba's storyline to me has been like the strongest, because we've been talking about immigration reform since the beginning, since season 1, which in our political environment hasn't really had too much progress, and ideally we would love for that to happen, and we're just trying to contribute in our own small little way. But I would say definitely the talk of sex in Latino community, or in any kind of religious background that is subject to believing the same thing or having a very strong hold over a female sexuality. It's really cool to explore that. So I would feel like those two themes have been really fun to do.
Well, and how about, you've been very vocal too about your frustrations and hopes as far as Latino representation in Hollywood. How do you feel we are doing right now? We saw what some of the shows are for next season, but how would you say in your own experience things are changing? Like, are you seeing different scripts or getting different kinds of auditions now?
Oh, I definitely have seen opportunities for myself personally, but because I don't have control over other opportunities, I created a production company. I can and I will. We recently sold a show to Hulu and a few more to CBS, and they will have females and Latinos in front of and behind the camera. So instead of wondering about how others are doing, I'm just trying to create a space where others can succeed based off of the blessings that I've been given. But I do see a lot of growth when it comes to representation in both film and television, especially because the conversation has been so loud. And I think that instead of thinking about problems, we think of solutions. So my solution was starting my production company and helping others succeed in putting other faces, new stories, new shapes, new colors, new cultures, new religions on screen, so that we can do like what Jane has done when it comes to immigration or conversation of sex in traditions. And so I always try to think about solutions. I do think that we definitely have space to
we
to
need
grow.
more. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with us growing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with putting unfamiliar faces in stories that we haven't seen before, because I think that art is so powerful in its ability to heal misconceptions of others that you have yet to meet. So I think that that's really a cool thing that art can do. And I think that we definitely have room to grow. And I think that the next generation, how incredibly inspired I am by this next generation and their ability to use social media for change, has been drastically evidenced from the time when I was 15 years old. I am just mesmerized by these young kids speaking against inequality and fighting for rights for the LGBT community and for, religions that have been disenfranchised. I think that they're really giving me a lot of inspiration and hope. I find that there's a lot of badass youth right now that are doing incredible things and are trying to tear down the walls of inequality.
Well, that's good.
And it's like
promising.
loud. It's very promising.
Well, we're going to take some questions from those
hey.
fans. Ellen on Facebook asks, have you guys discussed the possibility of a musical episode or a crossover?
Oh, yeah, girl. We're trying to do crossovers all over the land. But I personally wouldn't be the best person to ask that, only because Jenny has total control. And so, Jenny, if you're listening, we want musicals and crossovers. But we definitely have been thinking about that world. And me and Jenny will always discuss, like, fun ideas. I wouldn't mind having some of the superheroes on Jane. Because Jane is a superhero, right?
Yeah.
She's a real-life superhero.
I like it. Which iconic guest stars are you hoping to see on the show?
Oh, I mean, after having Rita Moreno, it's kind of difficult. I want Andy Garcia to come on the show. I love Andy Garcia so much.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that would be a good one, right? I feel like he would find a space. Big fan of Prince. Prince Royce. Rest in peace. Obviously, I didn't mean to mess that up. But Prince Royce, come on through, homie.
Okay.
So to be honest, we've had a lot of great people. And I truly, truly mean this and believe this, that if you want to come on our show, then you are the guest that we want to have.
Just tell us.
Just contribute your art. Because, like, someone that comes out to contribute their art, like, those are the people you want to work with.
Well, this next question involves voice work. And so can we please talk about you voicing Carmen Sandiego for Netflix?
Awesome.
How did this happen?
They approached me.
That's amazing.
And you know what's crazy is that Rita Moreno was the original voice of Carmen Sandiego. So I'm like, if Rita did it, no kidding. I grew up with Carmen Sandiego, loved Carmen Sandiego, the PBS, the game show, and the computer game.
What do you remember like being drawn to about her?
I was drawn to, honestly, the show. I was drawn to all the information and education I was getting because I subliminally was learning so much and really enjoyed it. But her mystery, I love the idea of a mysterious woman.
Have you gone into the booth yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? What's it been like?
It's incredible. I mean, the show is so different than anything we've seen about Carmen Sandiego before. It's more so like, who in the world is Carmen Sandiego? So you get to learn about her.
Nice.
And it's really good. Like, me and my boyfriend stay up at night and read the scripts prior.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like, he's like, Carmen Sandiego. Like, it's a very, very good.
And what is it like being in that booth? I mean, you do it too with, you're voicing Virgin Mary, right?
I am. I'm voicing the Virgin Mary for the film The Star, which comes out November 10th for Sony. I'm very excited because that script was incredible. Oprah happens to be in that. No big deal. Just dropping the big O-bomb. It's a wonderful cast. Zachary Levi plays my Joseph. It's the nativity story with a twist, told from the eyes of a donkey, and it's very funny.
But is it like freeing to be like sort of, I can be in my pajamas and just shout into a microphone?
What are you talking about, girl? I go in full makeup. I go in these tight-ass dresses. No, I'm kidding. It is extremely freeing, but it's also really cool to play with the inflection of one's voice, especially because I've always lived in a very deep tone. And with Jane, I'm a little higher.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very cool to find these other characters and explore that.
Okay.
It's been new.
Well, we're going to do a lightning round.
All right.
So get ready.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to say something extremely inappropriate.
Last show you binge watched?
Oh, Handmaid's Tale.
Ooh, nice. What show?
Okay.
What?
Oh, it's just scary.
It's scary, yeah, but good one to watch.
Yeah.
What show?
Oh, actually, then, really, I binge watched Broad City all 3 seasons like 2 weeks ago. I love y'all so much. Alana.
Guest star.
I have a huge crush on you.
Guest star. What show that you love would you want to sit and watch someone else enjoy for the first time?
Broad City.
Broad City. If you could go back and be on any classic show, what would it be?
Taxi.
Oh my God, we need to talk after this.
Yeah, I just want to work with Danny DeVito always.
Judd Hirsch. What genre would you like to try?
What genre would I like to try? I feel like I've done so. I want to do a video game.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to like really like extend my imagination and do that.
I like that. Walter White or Tony Soprano?
Tony Soprano.
Okay. I feel like we need a female version of that question.
Yeah. You do need a female version of that question.
What was your first acting job, and what did you learn from it that you're still using now?
Oh, my first acting job was an AOL commercial.
I love it.
You can go back and see, and it's extremely embarrassing and somewhat creepy. But my first acting job outside of that was Law and Order.
Okay.
And first job that I like learned something that I still keep with me, I'm going to say is Bold and the Beautiful. People snooze on soap operas, but I would learn how to do 40, 50 pages memorizing within an hour. And then I'd have to go out and you do it in one take or two if you're lucky. So you learn to just bring everything you have, your choices, everything you want to that first take. I think that has allowed me to navigate through television very well.
And lastly, before we end, how's the book coming along?
It's coming.
What has that process been like?
Oh gosh, I mean,
how is writing for you as opposed as how it is for Jane?
Oh, it's drastically different. Yeah, I'm definitely not writing about romance. I actually know nothing about romance whatsoever, which is depressing. But it's been a journey of being honest with myself, and an honesty that is very uncomfortable at times. Debating on what stories I'm going to share with the world, what would not hurt my family, because you know, as picture perfect as we all paint our Instagram pages, you know, there was a lot of obstacles to get to where I'm at, and that includes my family at times, you know, and that's not always easy, but it's necessary to share your stories for that one person that's out there that has just been waiting to hear it. And I just keep reminding myself that that's who I'm writing it for, the one girl or boy out there that, like myself, could have used this at that age.
Did you find, like, did you go into a cabin in the woods? Like, what helped
I ain't got
you
no time
write?
for cabins. I wish. I'm like, can I go to a cabin in the woods? Shit, you put me in a cabin in the woods, I'm going to sleep for the whole
You're just on
time.
set writing?
Like, there been no, I mean, it's everywhere I'm writing. It's like the Harry Potter. It's like JK. She's like, she wrote like on the train and like in her BlackBerry. I don't have a BlackBerry, but on my iPhone, you know, or I do lots of voice memo. If I'm in the car, if I get inspired, I stop and I just jump right in.
Well, we look forward to it. This year, right? Or
This
early
year,
next year?
maybe early next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to just give anything out like willy-nilly. I want it to be like, I'm proud.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to it, and thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And to all you, thanks for tuning in. If you want to check out more of our chats, head over to latimes.com. Thanks.